Hey everybody, let's go ahead and take a look and see what's been going on this week. I put out some videos early this week. I'm just going to recap it for this week. Let's start off with the Jackie Robinson's story, where the DOJ has erased the story of Jackie Robinson's military career in an attempt to erase anything that's related to DEI in any kind of way. I'm going to show you this short clip, and I'm actually going to make this clip a little shorter because there was a development actually 24 hours later. So let's get into it.
Reports, and I hope these reports are inaccurate, that Jackie Robinson's profile has been removed from DOD websites. Yeah. Please tell me that this is not true.
Sadly, it is, Joe. A page dedicated to Hall of Famer Jackie Robinson's military history has been removed from the Department of Defense's website. A previously existing article about Robinson's time in the Army during World War II now shows one of those page not found errors, and the new webpage URL includes DEI before the story's headline, indicating it might have been taken down as part of the Trump administration's efforts to eliminate federal DEI programs. I'll say I saw this. Jeff Pass, an ESPN writer, tweeted it this morning. He said, quote, I'll write, good job, Jeff. He writes, the ghouls who did this should be ashamed. And Congressman, this is not the only one. We've been talking in recent days how the page dedicated to the Enola Gay, the flight that dropped the atomic bomb in Japan, was taken down, likely because the word gay appeared in it. Other American heroes, Medgar Evers, the page dedicated to him, civil rights hero, taken down. Jackie Robinson is the epitome of American hero and a veteran, and yet erased from the Department of Defense's website.
Yeah, that's right. And the code talkers, too. Let's not forget about the Navajo code talkers who literally helped us win World War II by communicating and keeping our secrets in a way that the Japanese could not break our codes. Some incredible stories of heroism trying to be wiped away, because that's what this administration does. That's what Donald Trump does. If it doesn't fit his narrative, if it doesn't give him credit for it, then it doesn't matter, and it should be wiped.
So it's funny about that, because I remember what I said, and the representative said it quite well, is that, again, they're trying to erase Black history. But I also remember you can't erase Black history as long as there's Black people here. And it is our job as a Black community to make sure that Black history is never erased. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized that we really need to stop leaving the narrative to white European Christian nationalist conservative party, that if we erase your history, that it's gone and it'll never be seen again. We need to stop giving them that such power. It is not in them to erase our history. It is in our hands to sustain, to keep our history going. But not to go on a tangent, I wanted to just show that short clip, which is a lot shorter than the last one, because less than 24 hours, DOD restored Jackie Robinson's military career. But as off-putting as it was to take it off to begin with, it is the reasoning, it is the gaslighting for their reasoning putting it back on. So here's another short clip.
Well, Jackie Robinson's baseball legacy was caught up in a massive information purge this week by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth.
It's part of an automated effort to remove diversity content from all of the Pentagon's platforms. And we're talking about tens of thousands of articles. A Department of Defense webpage describing baseball and civil rights icon Jackie Robinson's military service was restored yesterday after it was missing earlier in the day. Robinson, of course, broke Major League Baseball's color barrier with the Brooklyn Dodgers. He'd served with the U.S. military during World War II. In a statement, the Pentagon says in rare cases when content is removed that is outside of the scope of the directive, the content is put back to recognize our heroes for their dedicated service alongside their fellow Americans. Now, Jackie Robinson's son was surprised by the Pentagon's decision to take down the sports heroes in the military history webpage. He talked about his dad's legacy and says, quote, he worked tirelessly on behalf of equal opportunities in education, business, civic engagement, and within the justice system. A recipient of both the Presidential Medal of Freedom and the Congressional Gold Medal, he is, of course, an American hero.
Now, keep in mind, this was all just a ploy to get rid of anything that is DEI. In other words, anything that's not white, not conservative, not Christian history. You heard the Navajo code whispers. That was erased too. Anything that wasn't centric to white Christian national conservatives is deemed DEI. They're blatantly just saying they would not have achieved the Black community, the Native American community, the Asian community, the Hispanic community would not have achieved anything in this country without the help of a program. So it is very discouraging that the document that went out in February was telling the DOJ to do this. This was a purge to do this. It was a purge to erase anything that's not centric to European white Christian national conservatives. It was anything that shows history of a Black person doing something great. The Tuskegee Airmen was purged from this. DEI, I guarantee you, was not around when the Tuskegee Airmen was around. Neither was it around when it came to Jackie Robinson. Neither, I guarantee you, was it around during the Navajo code whisperers. I guarantee you, but that doesn't matter to them. It matters that you're different. You achieved something special. You helped shape this country. So obviously you needed help. And because you needed help, it had to be DEI. So keep in point that this will not be the last time you will see something like this. There's a whole slew, Project 2025, a whole slew of projects that's coming down the road. Now, let's get into our second story, which is a Black community in Ohio that had a Nazi rally near their neighborhood. Just to put a little point on it before I start the video, is the Black community is predominantly Black. It's an old neighborhood, Lincoln Heights, old majority Black neighborhood in Ohio. Been there for decades. It's not a brand new community or anything like that. And they seem to, since they called the police and the police did come, but didn't seem to be able to do much, they decided to take matters into their own hands. So let's take a short little look at this clip.
Turn now to one community in Ohio, which is now the center of a growing national debate about civil rights, hate speech, and the Second Amendment. NBC News correspondent and NBC News Now daily anchor Morgan Radford visited the town of Lincoln Heights, where residents have formed an armed community defense group in the wake of a neo-Nazi rally. Morgan joins us now. You were there just on Tuesday. What did the residents tell you about what's going on?
Yeah, I was there just this week. John, it was fascinating because what's interesting is that this town was founded during the Great Migration back in the 20s as a refuge for black citizens, which is why it was especially painful when neo-Nazis suddenly appeared in this 3,000-person majority black town. But they decided to fight back, taking up arms and patrolling their own streets. Now they're at the center of a much larger debate about protection and free speech and who gets it.
These aren't police officers or soldiers.
They're business owners, their fathers, their sons, daughters.
These are civilians, members of the Lincoln Heights Safety and Watch program.
It's a duty. Okay, let's go.
The duty, protecting their neighborhood, the majority black village of Lincoln Heights, Ohio. After neo-Nazis held a rally here last month, carrying rifles, waving swastikas, and hurling racial slurs, just moments before children were let out of school. At the time, law enforcement officials said the neo-Nazis did not break any laws, but an investigation by county prosecutors is ongoing. Weeks later, the KKK came with these flyers.
First African-American community above the Mason-Dixon line of staff.
Safety and Watch Group spokesperson Durrance Daniels says the police did not do enough, which was more chilling because the town was founded in the 1920s as a safe haven for black residents.
Lincoln Heights is our home. If somebody broke into your home, you call the police, and the police says, you know, if they do it again, we haven't broken any law, so we're just going to allow them to break into your home again. What would you do?
Are you worried at all that having a potentially armed response could just create more friction, create more danger?
I'll answer that by saying I've never felt safer as a black man in my community than I have right now.
The mayor of Evendale, which oversees the police force that responded that day, said in a statement to NBC News, "Our emphasis on de-escalation and public safety resulted in the incident's resolution without injuries to any of the persons involved." But residents here say they can't afford to wait. Every day, the Safety and Watch Group escorts children to school and patrols the streets.
Why do you all wear masks?
Those Nazis, we have reports of them finding our backgrounds, so we're not hiding ourselves from the residents, but we're protecting our family for what we're doing out here.
While many locals do support the security group, some, like business owner Eric Ruffin, say they wish the group wasn't needed.
We don't want to become what we hate. You know, we don't want to become a group of people that walk around feeling like we have a reason in America to have to protect ourselves.
And this community
Stand up.
Stand up.
Is not backing down.
We contacted the mayor of Evendale's office, and they say that prosecutors are looking at body camera footage of the neo-Nazi rally to see if any criminal charges could be filed. But meantime, the Hamilton County Sheriff is also calling on state lawmakers to pass legislation making it a crime to wear a mask with the purpose of intimidation while open carrying, guys.
I want to address what Eric Ruffin, the business owner in Lincoln Heights, had to say. And he was saying that he do not want us or his community to become what they fear. I don't think that's what's happening. I don't think they're becoming what they fear. It's more or less they protecting themselves from what they fear. And it's very slight. It is very slight hint when I said this is a majority owned neighborhood. The majority of the neighborhood is owned by the black community. So why in the world would the KKK come in to recruit? Well, they may have been coming in flat out to recruit. They may also have been coming in to establish that we're still around too. If they can get away with it, the neo-Nazi group that did their rally, if they can get away with it, maybe we can get away with it. And here's the deal. The reporter said, do you think this would escalate? Do you think this could take things a lot further than it should? Well, a question was asked about that during the panel, during the show, and I want to show you that, and we'll close out the show.
So, Morgan, let me ask you, one of the people you interviewed there, a young man, said he's never felt safer in his community than he does now. So this could have an impact nationwide, things like this. I mean, there is a contagion factor in safety. People always seek it. What did the mayor or anybody that you spoke to think about the contagion factor?
Duran's, I don't want to speak for him, but after my conversation with him, I feel like I could confidently say he would say the contagion factor has already happened. Because when I asked, is this a reaction to a local moment or a national movement? And he said, look at January 6th. He said, you already have people felt emboldened to come here locally because of what they saw nationally. If you can hang from the building of the hallowed halls of the Capitol and then be pardoned, not be prosecuted, why don't you think you can come to a small village of African Americans, only 3,000 people?
Morgan, does the group have any real authority? But as long as they stay within the confines of the law, they should be okay.
It's a great question. You know, I asked that basically, are you stopping cars when they come in because you think someone looks suspicious? Is that, you know, profiling in its own sort of way? And they said, no. We are patently aware of what our rights are and what our limitations are. They said, we're not officers. What we do is we are trying to cooperate with the police department. So if we see suspicious activity, because remember the KKK came back with flyers just after this rally. So they're saying this is more of a defensive posture to deter people from entering our community and showing them by virtue of our masks, by virtue of our guns, that you can't come here and we're not going to take this punch lying down.
So when they say they don't want things to escalate, they're not talking about the white community. They're talking about the black community. They do not want this fight or this type of fight or this type of protection to go national. They don't want us to be able to protect ourselves, to take care of ourselves, to feed ourselves, to clothe ourselves, to have our own money. They don't want it to get to that point where we're not dependent on white conservative national Christians. That's what the escalation was for. This neighborhood is not going door to door into different neighborhoods and starting pamphlets and starting programs in different neighborhoods. They're starting with their neighborhood because their neighborhood was attacked. And what they want to do is put a stop to it before they escalate. And it somewhat did kind of escalate. Again, what I was saying about the KKK. The neo-Nazis came in and did it. Why can't we? That's an escalation. And yes, what that young man said was true. 9/11, if you have the ability to go to the Capitol of the United States, go to the Capitol building, tear the building down, threaten sitting House leaders with their lives, build a noose in the middle of the yard, take down the American flag and raise a Trump flag. And it still took years for any arrest. And even when you was arrested, there were a lot of pardons done. If you have the ability to do that on a national level, imagine what you could do on a local level. It may not be the same amount of damage, but damage nonetheless. And that's all they're saying is we want what their Lincoln Heights was saying is we want to stop the escalation before it escalates. We're just letting you know that we're going to protect ours. That's all we're saying. We're not going to create the new Black Panthers. If you're inspired by what we're doing, so be it. You're going to have to start it on your own. But for them and theirs, they're going to protect their own. So that's all I got for this week, everybody. I will see everybody Saturday and Sunday. And until next time, we will see you when we see you.